In the middle of the night, the ghost knocked on the door. In my childhood memory, what I am most afraid of is the sound of the wind blowing the door at night. The sound is like someone knocking on the door, which is quite scary, especially after listening to my grandfather's talk about the ghost knocking on the door in the middle of the night. This feeling of fear will become stronger and stronger. When he was young, the old king of the village used to work as a caretaker in a cemetery, and the kind of work that was usually done by few people. After all, it was full of dead people, and the faint-hearted would be frightened to death by the ghosts that haunted the night. At that time, Lao Wang's family was poor, and in order to live, there was no way. So he came to the cemetery to work as an administrator. The cemetery was very large, about dozens of acres of land, and most of the people buried in it were poor people. Due to the bad feng shui there, it is often haunted, but most of the people see it are poor ghosts. At that time, Lao Wang was young and bold, and he was not afraid of the harassment of those ghosts. Lao Wang lives in a very old house. Red bricks cover the raised roof. The walls are made of gray-brown blue bricks. The walls are covered with lush vine branches. The light in the house is covered by these vine branches. Even in the daytime when the sun is dazzling, it can also make people chill from the bones. It is said that this old house is often haunted. The previous administrator Lao Li lived in this, and was scared to death. One day in the middle of the night, Lao Li slept soundly, and was suddenly awakened by a knock on the door. He thought that the leader of the cemetery had something urgent to find him. So he hurriedly got out of bed and opened the door. But after the door opened, the one standing at the door was not the leader of the cemetery, but a white-clothed ghost without a head. Lao Li had a heart attack, and was frightened to death by the headless ghost at that time. The next day, the leaders of the cemetery found him lying motionless at the door of the old house, thought he had a heart attack, and took him to the hospital. After arriving at the hospital, he dreamed every night that the terrible headless ghost came to him. And it didn't take long for him to die of a heart attack, because he couldn't bear the harassment of the headless ghost. So on the first day of Lao Wang's tenure, the leader of the cemetery repeatedly told him not to open the door if he heard a knock in the middle of the night. One day in the middle of the night, there was a knock on the door, which woke Lao Wang up from his sleep. Lao Wang felt that his head was a little confused, and he wanted to get up to open the door, but he thought of the leader's advice. So he asked hesitantly, "Who?" "Me." Outside the door came the hoarse voice of an old man. "Who are you? Who are you looking for?" "I'm just coming, admin. Can I help you with anything?" Lao Wang asked in a calm voice. "I'm the former administrator Lao Li. I forgot something in the house. Can you help me take it out?" Lao Li outside the door said faintly. Lao Wang had the courage to ask again, "What did you forget here?" Lao Li's sigh came from outside the door again. "The urinal, it's under your bed. I forgot to bring it into the coffin." Hearing this, he knew that he had really encountered a ghost, and he was so frightened that he trembled all over, and hurriedly got into the bed to cover his head, and did not dare to make a sound again. After a while, I heard another low sigh outside the door, and then the sigh faded away. He was so frightened that he didn't sleep all night, and when it was dawn, he found a rusty urinal under the bed. He knew that this was the urinal that Lao Li's ghost was looking for, and he was afraid that Lao Li's ghost would come to him again at night. So he hurriedly took the urinal and put it in front of Lao Li's grave, and he resigned the next day. I hope everyone hears this ghost story, and be careful of the sound of knocking on the door at night.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and put notification on to watch more videos. If you have similar experience, please comment and let me know your experience.